if you didn't think we'd make it, you were wrong.
We did.
We made it. Yeah. We did all we could. Yeah. November 8th.
I never doubted you. I want you to know.
Dawned. Well, thank you, Charlie. Your support and yours, Gayle.
Yeah.
Always appreciated. Friends of the program.
Yeah.
Charlie, Rose, and Gayle King.
No, you know what? I think that that John Dickerson had the best line. He said, it's like you're in the waiting room of the surgery, waiting for the doctors to come out to give you the results, to find out what's going to happen. Did the patient
Is it a boy or girl?
Is it a boy or girl?
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. Is it a boy or girl? I like that.
That's terrific.
I like
Pink
that.
cigar or blue
That's
cigar.
good. Oh, I like that.
You're both going to be participating in the primetime coverage tonight, on CBS. You know, when people come here to the building, they often stop at both of our spots. So I wonder, you know, you've spoken to all of them. You know, Kellyanne Conway, Robbie Book have been, you know, by the day.
Eric Trump was here this morning.
Eric Trump here this morning. What's your sense of where we sit then today, even as it reflects what we saw from both candidates yesterday?
Well, I think the conventional wisdom is that it's tight. The conventional wisdom is that she has a lot more paths to victory than he does. He almost has to run the table, so to speak, in terms of even getting some states that are leaning Democratic. Florida and North Carolina will be very, very indicative. The vice presidential nominee for the Democrats told us this morning, Tim Kaine, you know, that he thinks if they win either Florida or North Carolina, that's it.
But both sides, it's so interesting to me that both sides are predicting victory. They're both very confident of that. They say they have the votes. Bob Schieffer said this to me in the green room, Charlie. He said, you know, but in politics, people see what they want to see.
That's true.
Especially
or
at
they
this
listen
time,
to what they
right?
want to hear.
Or they listen to what they want to
Especially
hear.
when a candidate's on the ropes, and they start to believe a Michigan can turn for them.
Or Minnesota can turn. What is your assessment of the campaigns themselves? Both, well, one highly unlikely, an insurgent campaign, if you will. Another from an establishment candidate who has a massive Democratic machine behind her.
Well, it was reflective in terms of the kind of campaign they run. He never quite got the change argument because it was interrupted by so many tweets and so many other things. But he had something going for him really strong. He was a change candidate. And when he was on message, he was better than when he was not on message.
And people want the change.
And she had to overcome all those years, you know, and some sense of likelihood as well as trust. And whether they did that or whether people are simply voting for the least desirable or not, we don't know. We'll see. I think whoever wins will have time, and hopefully will be magnanimous, and hopefully will begin the process of rebuilding what we have lost because of the nastiness of this campaign.
Yeah, whoever does win, I think everybody agrees that there needs to be healing on both sides, and you would hope that whoever wins will reach out to the other and say, how can we work together?
Do you think
so important.
I think we all agree it should happen. Do you think it can?
I do, and I realize that, but I also know that Barack Obama came to town in 2008 saying, I want to be bipartisan. I think he genuinely did, and it turned out not to be possible for whoever was responsible, and I think probably on both sides there's some responsibility. So everybody comes to wants to do that, and it's difficult, but I believe in a sense that we may have reached a point where everybody agrees, except for some really extreme sectors, that we've got to turn this thing around. We've got to turn whatever it is that was so bad about the spirit of the American politics around. Not that we haven't been in bad places before, but it has come to a place where it is blocking action by government.
Gayle, if Hillary Clinton is elected president, she's a different political animal than Barack Obama in terms of relationships, in terms of an appetite for the political process. How do you see her as administration as potentially being different when you're talking about congressional relations?
Well, you know what I think is so interesting is that when Barack Obama was elected back in 2008, there was so much excitement about that. I remember people being absolutely giddy. And here we are possibly electing the first woman president of either party. And that's very low on the totem pole in terms of the conversation that people are having. I marvel at that, Alex. And somebody said to me, well, it's just Hillary Clinton. Okay, and that means what? People are so used to seeing her, she's been around so long, that you're almost not taking in the significance of what this will mean.
In fact, Barack Obama said last night in Philadelphia, talking about her and introducing her in a sense, he said, we have here the best qualified person to ever run for president, and she happens to be a woman.
Yeah.
And yet, and you know, Charlie used conventional wisdom, and wouldn't it be something at the end of all of this if conventional anything
is
wins
turned upside down, or wins out?
But if conventional wisdom once again takes it on the chin, and we wake up tomorrow and Donald Trump is president, we've had somebody say today, in no uncertain terms, it would be a shock to the American system. But what would Donald Trump, what would President Trump face in
well, I
terms
do
of
think
governance?
the following. I do think that the presidency has a way of sobering you up. Because, as they all will tell you, only the problems that get to the presidency are those that couldn't be solved or couldn't be handled beneath the presidency. The other problems are taken care of below. And I think it sobers you up, and you'll make mistakes. All presidents make mistakes. But it does have a sense, I think, the office. And you look in the hallway, and there's George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln, and you say, you know, I want better angels to come forward.
Yes, it's a very exclusive club when you look at it, and this would only be president number 45. That comes with a lot of responsibility, and I hope, to Charlie's point, that it has a way of sobering up, that you realize this is very important. I love how Barack Obama says, if the decisions could be made earlier, they wouldn't make it to my desk. If they make it to my desk, it is hard.
It's a real problem.
It is hard.
And if you remember that night in Grant Park, the speech he gave was a sobered speech. It was not bells and whistles.
That's right.
There was a lot of work ahead. Charlie and Gayle, it's always good to see you. Thanks for taking the time this morning.
Thanks, guys.